Hi, I'm Sydne Stone, and I'm going to talk about restoring resiliency. This is a stressful time. It can be hard to manage the challenges of sheltering in place and facing an uncertain future. There's a disruption in our usual ways of going through the days. Our typical coping that involves getting out with friends and family, getting time alone from school-aged children, having downtime to meet our own personal needs, and accessing our support network in usual ways is often not an option during this time. These challenges can impact our ability to cope in difficult situations and our ability to bounce back from adversity. Although resilience is a quality that you possess, you can work on becoming more resilient by adopting certain habits or practices. Let's talk about some of those. So just what is resilience? The American Psychological Association defines resiliency as adapting well in the face of adversity. What about some of those words? Adapting. Okay, we can get that. Think of bending like a tree does in the wind, allowing ourselves to be flexible enough to not be uprooted or topple over. Adapting well. The word well is kind of broad. I think well really means well enough, and is defined by each person, and maybe a bit differently each day, because especially these days, each day can present itself differently than the previous one. Getting through the day well enough is good enough. Adversity. That can be a very big word. We're all faced with adversity such as we have never known, and that is true for people all over the planet. We're blazing a trail we didn't pick, we don't like, and we don't know when it will end. So during COVID times especially, adversity can encompass different challenges for each of us, though all of us are traveling on this trail simultaneously. I like to think of resilience as being able to bounce back well enough from whatever it is that has created some difficulty in our lives. The four main components to building resilience are taking care of our physical health, attending to our mental health, nurturing our spiritual life, and expanding and leaning on social support. You could say that each of these actually is nurturing our spiritual life because our bodies, our intellect, our emotional life, and our relationships with others are all gifts from God. So attending to each of those areas of life is, by definition, attending to our spiritual life and our relationships with God. Let's talk about taking good care of our physical health. First, nutrition makes a difference. Eating well-balanced meals, including an occasional treat, eating healthy foods, and drinking enough water impacts our ability to think, how well our organs function, and how good we feel. Our bodies are about 60% water. The Institute of Medicine recommends that men drink roughly 15 cups of water a day, women drink roughly 11 cups of water a day, and kids about 7 cups of water a day. Good sleep hygiene makes such a difference in our functioning. While our culture rewards working long hours, speeding through our days, making sure we get enough good sleep is critical to brain functioning, physical and mental health, and overall better quality of life. Set a schedule. Start to unwind about 30 minutes before bedtime. Get daylight exposure. Be physically active. Unplug electronics. Reduce alcohol intake. Don't smoke, and limit eating before bedtime. Movement. Any movement that you enjoy is good for your body. Yoga, hiking, dancing, running, playing sports, strengthening, canoeing, kayaking, gentle stretching. We'll be more likely to move more often if it's fun. And it'll help us relax and defocus from the stresses associated with COVID. Movement releases endorphins, which are energizing and help mood. As tempting as they may be, avoiding and limiting unhealthy outlets will help us build resilience. Don't smoke, avoid alcohol, turn off the TV, sleep well, and nurture those things that help you mindfully relax. Mental health is more of a continual process rather than a static state. It's sort of a flexible internal balance. Talk to yourself with compassion. You are a special, unique child of God. Some people practice an internal mantra such as, "Let me treat myself and all others with kindness and compassion." Let go of those things you can't control. Take the time to really think about, is this my business or does it belong to someone else? Letting go respects others' self-will and releases burdens we don't need to carry. Prioritize what you do. Figure out what is really important to you. What do you value most? Start with that. Make sure that your daily schedule reflects what is most important to you. Practice gratitude daily. Even giving thanks for the smallest things, such as something nice someone said, has a cumulative effect. It opens our eyes to a more positive frame of mind. Change your narrative, in other words, the story you tell yourself about yourself. Be honest about your thoughts and feelings. Feel the physical sensations associated with those thoughts and feelings. Express them, and write the next chapter of your life in ways that you prefer, honoring the greater good for yourself and others. Pair positive emotions with negative emotions. When bumping into a negative feeling or emotion, recall when you've been able to face something similar successfully. Notice your bodily sensations and the feelings of confidence. Expand forgiveness. The bottom line here is seeing every person as a child of God and letting go of anger, hurt, fear, and resentment so you don't have to carry it. It can get way too heavy. Forgiveness is not saying something harmful is okay. It is saying, I'll do what I can, then I'll give it to God. I'll let God and God's relationship with that person deal with the situation. And I'll pray for mercy and compassion for that person. Set realistic expectations. These are unprecedented times for the entire planet. Don't expect life to flow as it did pre-COVID. Set your sights on attainable goals. Face fears and losses. This isn't a fun thing to do, but it's necessary. Tackle fears head on and allow the feelings we all have around losses great and small. One step at a time, as slowly as we need to, we can build internal emotional strength. Accept change. Change can be both painful and enriching. We make progress by being open to change. Change can be accepting things we don't like, and yet change can also include a sense of readiness and hope. Spiritual life is important to all of us at First United Methodist. What does spiritual life have to do with resilience? Prayer makes a difference. Have you ever prayed and not gone to a better place, or been given a better perspective or understanding? Prayer allows for our awareness of the God within and the God in every aspect of life. Sitting with that awareness alters our perspective. It relaxes the body and mind and moves us toward hope. Meditation can take many forms. The bottom line is concentrating on one thing for a period of time. That one thing can be your breath or a helpful phrase or mantra. It's important to refrain from judging thoughts, feelings, or bodily sensations. Just be aware of them. Be aware of the present moment and keep focused. Slowly scanning the body helps loosen tension, and visualizing the healing light traveling through your body can be an added bonus. Connecting with your spiritual family. First United Methodist is great at providing so many opportunities to connect, even during this tough time. Staying involved in our First United Methodist family helps us keep focused, too, on what we value most. If you're having trouble connecting with your First United Methodist family, please contact the church. We want to help. Read for fun and enrichment. Again, this is a great way to defocus from stressful events and to allow ourselves to relax even for a few minutes. Related to reading, it helps build resilience to intentionally set aside devices and social media. We do need to be informed, but our current political climate can be very divisive and can increase stress and tension, and that makes building resilience tougher. Each person has to decide where to draw these lines, and those lines can literally change daily. Do what works best for you. Visualizations can transport our bodies and minds to a calmer setting. You can visualize sitting in a serene place, relaxing your muscle groups one area at a time, moving from the top of your head down to your toes. You can also picture yourself at a real or made-up place with no interruptions, just relaxing safely, being aware of each of these scenes and the senses, creating the space just as you would like. Social support is tricky these days. When we can't meet in person, we have to look for alternatives. Talking with people on the phone, meeting over the internet, meeting while socially distancing, all of those have come to give more meaningful interactions than we ever thought they would. Lots of research shows that positive social support is protective emotionally and physically. Positive relationships help relieve harmful stress, which affects coronary arteries, gut function, insulin regulation, and the immune system. In fact, engaging in caring behaviors can actually trigger the release of stress-reducing hormones. Make sure to pick altruistic activities that fit your style and your personality. Studies show that these activities help both the person giving and the person receiving. During this time, many of us feel isolated. Take the first step to reach out. We all need one another. First United Methodist wants you to know we're all still a family and want to connect. Please read about the many opportunities the church offers to be with others, help our greater community, and continue being present, though we're not in person. In summary then, resilience is not avoidance or something innate that some people have and some people don't. We all have the capacity to build resilience. We all face adversity in various forms: a loved one's death, life-altering events, illness, significant stress, trauma, threats. Each one is unique. Resilience is built on intentional focus on our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors over time. Wrap yourselves in loving kindness.